You know, he's always looking out for his buddy, though, Randy Weingarten, the teachers union president. Student test scores have dropped to the lowest of all time, 2 years straight. So Randy has some nerve walking around showing her face, but she does. If Biden actually stood up to the union instead of selling out, maybe Republican governors like DeSantis and Youngkin wouldn't have to step in and keep sex and gender lessons out of elementary schools. Because someone has to stand up for the parents. The National Education Association is trafficking in materials involving bondage, sadomasochism, anal sex. The NEA is the largest teachers union in the country, representing over 3 million public school teachers. They're in every school district. And the school year's just started. And the more parents are finding out about this stuff, it's freaking them out. Listen to this guy who doesn't have kids, but is a concerned uncle tear into a local school board this week in California.
It has come to our attention that the district intends to teach transgenderism to children under the age of 10 without parental consent. If I were to teach your child about my sexuality without your consent or involvement, I'd be arrested. But when the school district does it, it's education. Districts are teaching transgenderism when they should be teaching science, math, and language. Instead, teachers are hiding student pronouns from their parents under the guise of gender affirmation. You don't tuck these children in at night. You don't teach them to stand up to bullies. You don't pay their medical bills. And you certainly don't hold their hands in the hospital. These parents do. Men cannot become women, and sex chromosomes are encoded into the fabric of our DNA. Parents must be a part of the education process when teaching sexuality to students, and it definitely doesn't need to happen under the age of 10 years old.
Mario Presents is the concerned uncle behind that speech, and he joins me now. So that went viral. I mean, that is all over the internet, Mario, and you got a really raucous and supportive reaction from that crowd. I'm sure there was concerned parents that had your back. What about the school board? What did they do when you hit them with this truth?
The school board, all they could do was just stare and try to get the crowd to be quiet. The school board, Conejo Valley School District, has had a history of this. A concerned father called me. I happen to have 2 students in the district, and I said, you know what better person to come and speak than me?
So you spoke, and you spoke very passionately, but you also spoke very scientifically. What exactly are they trying to do that's unscientific, in your opinion, at this school district?
Well, what they're trying to do is they're trying to separate parents from their children in order to teach children something that's against the parents' belief system. And we at GAG call that grooming, and they say it's an anti-LGBT, anti-trans word. It doesn't have anything to do with any person's sexuality because, as I said in my speech, you can't teach a child religion without the parents' consent, and you can't baptize them without the parents' consent. But for some reason, we're teaching transgender, you can use pronouns, and the schools are hiding it. I'm actually in communication with several parents in not just that district, in multiple districts and administrators, and they've told me that they're uncomfortable because by law, they are now required to use pronouns per the student's choice, but they have to hide that. If the parents are not on board with this pronoun name game that they're doing, the parents have no right to know it, and the teachers are now stuck in a rock and a hard place where they have to remember not to use this pronoun when they're addressing the parents and to use this pronoun when they're addressing the kids. And then we start getting into the actual system where you can actually look at your grades and stuff, and how do parents who have access to this and aren't accepting of pronouns, how do you deal with this? This is the big problem, is it's coming down, and the teachers are caught in a very, very rock and a hard place.
Yeah, I don't want to slam all teachers because, listen, a lot of the teachers also are not down with this kind of garbage. A lot of this has to do with these wacky administrators. What is this group? What was on the T-shirt that read there? It was it gays against grooming, groom dogs? What was that?
Groom dogs, not kids, which as I was a pet stylist, so I know all about handling pets and making them look pretty. And we love that. We love a pretty pet, but we don't love kids being sexual. We don't love kids confusing them. We want kids to just be themselves. The Gays Against Groomers has this great mantra, save the tomboys, because little girls can be rough and tumble. They don't have to have their body parts chopped off just because they're a little more masculine than their other counterparts.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. Thank you so much for that passionate speech and for joining us on Jesse Watters Primetime. And if Rookie, my dog, Mini Poodle, needs a cleanup, I know where to send him. Thanks, Mario.
You got it.